Hello and welcome back to another video. It's been a while. It's because I was away on my honeymoon and then it's taking a bit of time to spool up with getting stock in. But we're going to kick off tonight with this. So a colleague at work passed me this speaker today and basically said there's some charge in it now and it works apparently, but the power jack isn't working. Just done a quick search online because there was no obvious branding. It basically just says Bluetooth speaker made in China. Did a search. It's called an Ice Fox Bluetooth speaker. Seems to retail for around £20ish. I think it's the kind of thing potentially you pick up when you're on your travels because you forgot a speaker and you want something I don't know, buy the deck chair or something like that when you're abroad. So first thing I'm going to do is have a look at the fault and just see what's going on, and then we'll have a look at how to get into the device in order to have a look at the port if that's in fact what it is. So I'm just going to use this. This is quite handy when you're testing. The DC in is a micro USB, isn't it? Or what's the, you got mini? No, it's a mini, isn't it? So one of those, and then I'm just going to plug this into a plug just on over on this side. All right, so let's plug it in. See what happens. Now I'm looking, is there some kind of charging light that we're expecting to see on this? So there's a red charging light there. Now apparently if you move, yeah, you can see there's a lot of flex in the power lead. Now it is, I mean, in my example here it is coming on straight away, but there is certainly a bit of movement there, isn't there? So I'm wondering if it's more port or whether it's more about where it sits on the circuit board, because it seems to me like it's charging. Let's have a look at the inside the port. Doesn't seem too bad. So let's investigate that movement. I mean, for me, you know, there's an element of it seems to be charging absolutely fine for me. You know, red power lights coming on for charging, fine. I'd expect if this was intermittent or there was a problem on the board, then moving that would usually kind of stop it charging. Maybe if we just leave it there for a second and see if it... No. So it doesn't look as bad as I suspected. Anyway, let's see if there's a way of getting inside. Now, as with a lot of things, there's no obvious screws. But these things, if there's nothing kind of here that looks like it's going to come off, often it'll be hidden under this rubber section. So let's see if we can gently take the rubber off and see if there's anything kind of hidden there. Other than that, yeah, let's just see if there's any way of gently, without damaging it, lifting this rubber base off. So I'm going to maybe just start with this pry tool. So yeah, as we can see, as I'm prying off there, you can see the screw concealed under there, just a Phillips head screw. Just trying to get as low as I can to leave as much on there. But what I'm going to probably do is when I reaffix it, I'll use some strong double-sided tape, some rubber glue. I'll clean this up, some rubber glue, or yeah, I don't really want to use super glue on there, so I'll use either a rubber glue or some some double-sided tape. Now what we can see here is basically just 4 Phillips screws, a couple under there, a couple here. Right, so that's done. Let's see how easily, there's a little thing just there, but I don't think it's a screw of any sort. let's just see what happens now. So we can see the base just coming away gently. Little bit of resistance somewhere. So it looks like there is, right, I don't know if you can see, there's a ribbon cable there. So there's a ribbon cable at the bottom, and the ribbon cable, if I'm looking at it now, is glued in place. So I somehow need to get, and I can't unplug these because the way they're flush, so that's designed to kind of go in, I guess, and then screw up. So somehow I think I'm going to just manipulate the circuit board and unscrew it in place. So if, for instance, I come in to this angle here, and then there's another one down there and another one on the sides. And fingers crossed that circuit board will now want to just come down. Right, there we go. Just remember. So here we are, and now I can detach the cables here. Oh, that's fine as it is. Right, so we're all the way down, and what you could, oh, in fact, the ribbon cable has decided it wants to come out now. So the ribbon cable was in there, and what you've got is it was closed down onto the cable and then glued in place. So obviously I've tried my very best to get it off with the ribbon cable attached, but I'm gonna have to sort that out anyway. So now we're all the way down, we're down to our power port, so our port's here now. So let's just see if we plug this in where that movement was coming from. Then it was moving around. Now here you can see actually there's no movement in the port at all, so it's not like it's come loose on the circuit board. So what that is more likely is the inside there. So when I'm looking at that, unless you're going to remove this micro USB port and re-solder it down on these, which I guess in theory you could, you'd have to get those pins correct. To me, there's not really much you can do. I mean, there's, what would stop that moving around? Not much. It's still making contact. What you can see is if you only push it in a certain amount, there is flex. So what you need to do is push it in and then give it an extra click, and then you can see actually it's quite stable. But that's not moving. So all it is the little holes here are ever so slightly off on the micro USB. So you've got these little bits that stick up. On this particular model, if you push it in and it's not entirely all the way, what's happening is you're getting movement in there. So you just have to get it in there and give it an extra little push so that they engage, and then actually you can see it's firm and it's in place. So what we'll do is we've now established that everything's fine on the board. We can see this, and actually we can see that's quite nice and firm. So what I'm going to do is just put the surround on and just see if there's anything stopping that happening with this. So there's no movement there now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back together, but I'm going to make sure when I screw it, it's as kind of pushed out as possible to here, because what might have been happening was a lot of these have you know, the rubber surrounds, and if it was slightly further in recessed, it might be the fact that you haven't been able to get this kind of all the way in because the rubber housing's stopping it. Back you go. Right, so let's get this ribbon cable attached back on. That's really, I'm just putting hot glue on there. He says I'll probably have to do the same thing myself. What I'm going to do is, rather than hot glue, I'm just going to use a little bit of this tape. Right, so that's those reattached. That's still in and closed. Just finding my Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So that ribbon cables, the ribbon cables decided to come out. Right, so I'm just going to have a look and see if that would have worked, and then I'm going to have to go back in and give it another go. And you still get that wobble. I'll take this off, have a break, and then I'll come back to this. Right, so we're back, and so what we need to do is I've got the hot glue gun warming up, because if it wants to be hot glued in place, it can be hot glued in place. So I'll do that. In fact, you can see, I wonder if someone's done a repair on this in the past, because look at that hole. As soon as you take the hot glue off, yeah, so someone's done a repair on this, haven't they? They've damaged that in the past, and then they've just hot glue gunned it down along there. So we'll redo that, so it's all held in place. And then I'm still positive that the reason it's not holding properly in here is just because the little pins are not grabbing on the inside. They're not. So when you go in, it's grabbing on just on the one side, which then allows the whole thing to kind of rock. So what I want to do is I'm just going to try and extend this hole ever so slightly, and also compress it ever so slightly from there. Nothing major, we don't want to get silly, just to see if we can allow it just a fraction more to grab onto. So I'm going to I'm just trying to make that hole just a fraction bigger, and at the same time I'm also just going to depress it a touch just here on that side. Let's see if that makes it any better. That seems to be holding a bit better. It just, there's these kind of little bits on the outside that were splayed. Okay, I think a combination of just with lining up that hole a little better and working with the guides, that makes it nice and snug. There we go. So you can see the movement's now gone once it's seated in there. That's much better. So what I'm going to do now, and yeah, that's got a good grip, perfect. So yeah, get the ribbon cable reconnected, and then we'll get it all built back together again. No, it's not. These are a bloody nightmare. Hello, so welcome back. Now, it's always a shame. So basically I stopped filming just because sometimes you just need to get rid of the pressure, and especially if you're still thinking about stuff, and then when you figure something out you go, oh, I should have kept filming. But so what I've done was I went back to this joint and realized that the connections on the top, these ones here, weren't really doing anything. They were duplicates of the one underneath, because they were where the ribbon cable sits on a connection. I did a continuity test, and the bottom ones come out at the rear, as do the top ones. So the top ones weren't doing anything. So rather than trying to push down with the broken clip that was held on earlier with the glue, I decided to put the ribbon cable back into its slot at the bottom. I then used a bit of card in between these contacts on the top and the ribbon cable. It was just thick enough that it kind of actually gave it a nice amount of pressure to hold it in. I didn't even need any glue after that. The card alone with the connections above it held it nice and tight. But what I did was I just put some glue around there just to keep the ribbon cable and the card all together. I then used my phone, obviously I'm filming now, and plugged it all back in, and it all seemed to be working. Something that was throwing me off a second ago was it kept just beeping and beeping over and over and over again. I was going, why is it doing that? Have I kind of done something with the controls? Am I making it do something? What it turned out to be was the batteries were about to die, so the thing was just signaling that. So once I put some charge in it and tested everything, it all seemed okay. So I don't even need this either, but I will just leave it in just for a bit of belt and braces, just to keep that connection in place. But like I say, it would be fine, probably just with the card on its own. You've got the card, the glue and that, so it should all be fine. So hopefully for the last time, I'm going to rebuild this. I'll go and grab the other phone again, and fingers crossed we should then test it and we should be okay. So on to the rebuild stage with the ribbon cable now fixed. We know the charging port is now fixed. I'll re-put these connections in. Turn this off. So hopefully for the final time. I don't really want to mess around in case. Yeah, as I was saying, that's a good sign. So when I pressed play on here, the filming cut out and it started playing music. So that is actually a satisfactory fix on the ribbon cable. So what I'm going to do now is put all this back together, put the base back on, go and get an alternative device, and then we'll do a proper test right at the end. Right, so that's pretty much lost its stick, that rubber. It was obviously a bit of double-sided like 3M tape. Something like this works well. T-Rex super glue tape. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. I'm literally just putting 3M tape onto here. That should do to keep it on. It's going to be sat on the base anyway. Cool, so there's the base reattached. I don't think you'd notice. It's got a good stick on it as well. So what I'm going to do is just stick this on charge for probably a couple of minutes, and so that's a good chance to show it that it's all working. So that's off. Put it on charge. We've got the charge light come up. Like virtually all of that movement's gone now. It's like 1% movement, and you get a nice click. So that's all working. And now I'll leave that to charge, and I'll be right back to demonstrate it. Okay, I'm back, and it's time to function test the rest of the device. It's been on charge for 3ish minutes, and as I've already shown, I think we can safely say that port is much better than it was. There's hardly any movement in it at all, and it's got a nice resistance to take it out. So we'll turn the device on. Hopefully we should then be able to connect to this device. So it's connected to the phone. Load up a playlist. So here we have a playlist. Play. We can see can be controlled through the phone. Pressing the button will skip the tracks. So we can see this one's playing now, but as I do that, it's moving forward through the tracks, back through the tracks. This one pauses it, and then for our volume we just hold it down. So that's obviously max volume. Reduce the volume. And stopped. So in summary, this was the an Ice Fox Bluetooth speaker. Came in with a dodgy it's not micro, whichever, mini USB power supply. It involved finding the hidden screws, taking it apart, which was a little trickier because of the small amount of play that you have in the ribbon cable. Had a look at the port, generally seemed okay, so it was attached to the circuit board fine. So it was a bit of fettling just with the pins, just a bit of like of reshaping, because possibly someone's kind of pulled it in the past and so it wasn't quite sitting right. That then meant that was okay. We also found that probably during the manufacturing process, the ribbon cable had just been kind of glue gunned back in place. And once it came off, and they're really bad, those connectors, you have to have a nice firm grip. I tried just re-putting it on and re-gluing it, but that, as we saw, it didn't really work. Eventually I identified the fact that I could slide it in and then add some additional pressure material between the pins and the ribbon cable, and that worked fine. I secured it with some extra glue just for belt and braces, and I also left that little bit of sponge in as well, just to sit underneath it for even more protection. I've then rebuilt the whole thing, put some kind of double-sided strong tape on the bottom here to re-hide the screws on the bottom, and then I've done a function test both with the charging it up and also using the buttons to show that that all works now. If you enjoyed watching the video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps me grow the channel. And until the next one, all the best, take care, and see you.